looks like the majority of the police that immediately moved near the area of the church have moved now further south. Our cameraman, Tom Larson, who was first to get there before the police had completely sealed off the area, he indicated that he has seen somebody running. He also said that the Bearcat, which you may be able to see from aerial pictures, I haven't had a chance to see the aerial from my position, but it looks like they did have a significant police presence, and it's moving towards the south of Richardson Street. We're on the northern edge. The policemen that had originally surrounded the Cornerstone Assembly of God Church have now, it looks like they're standing down. They look a lot more relaxed. And the police immediately began going from block to block. And now they are moving further and further south. Initially, they went over Cooley Avenue, which is the street that's directly to the south of the church. They and more reinforcements came over, and they seemed to go inspecting block by block by block. Now we're taking a look at some of the police that are here by the church. Also further down Richardson, we're looking at a group of police officers who are making their way back to the northern perimeter of the area. There are also a lot of onlookers that are being held back by the police. There's obviously a lot of interest in San Bernardino for what's happened today. Police cruisers are moving back and forth fairly actively. I assume that there might be different types of tactical teams that are going in to check in the area and relay information to each other. But we are looking at a group of San Bernardino Sheriff's Department police officers, heavily armed, that are now making their way back. They like I said, they look a lot more relaxed than the initial few minutes when we first got here, where they had their guns drawn. They were on an extremely heightened state of alert. They asked us to stay back. Some of them even took cover behind our police car. And as you can tell, they are making their way to the northern edge of the perimeter. Let me see if I can ask some of them. Okay, so that's the Sheriff's Department telling us that this is still an active police. Guys, anything happening down there? Still active? Okay, anybody dead? Okay, they would not confirm or deny that anything specific had happened with the shooter. But as you can tell, they said off the top that this is still an active area, and you can tell from the number of helicopters that are flying overhead. Also, you saw that armored vehicle, which looked like some device to help shield anybody approaching the area, or if there's any additional shooting that would take place. That's moved into position, and like I said, we did have visual indication that the Bearcat had been moved into position after it was called for. We listened clearly on the scanners, the police requesting reinforcement, including the Bearcat.
And Alberto, very quickly, that one body that we've seen on the ground there, that is believed to be the body of one of the shooting suspects. Is that right?
I have not seen the body with my own eyes. I am only going by the information that has been relayed. Like I said, the police officers here, the only thing that they would tell me is that this continues to be an active situation. I have not seen the body directly, and the police will not give out any more information except to say that this continues to be an active scene.
Alberto, stand by Art Roderick. Based on all the images that we're seeing and we're trying to absorb, clearly this is still an active scene, an active situation that's underway right now. What's your analysis of what we're seeing?
Well, I mean, obviously they're still targeting that vehicle. They have EOD on the scene, and it sounds like for a period of time after this incident occurred here, the shooting here at this particular location, that law enforcement thought they might have had a second suspect someplace. I'm not sure if that's the case now at this point, and where that information came from. But to be on the safe side, law enforcement always assumes there's another shooter, and this is probably what they're going through the protocols right now to make sure that there's not a second suspect.
Tom Fuentes, you agree?
Yeah, this is going to be a tough situation. It's going to be dark in about an hour, and if they think they have somebody on the loose in a residential neighborhood to go door to door that could commit a home invasion and hunker down or steal somebody else's vehicle, do a car hijacking, this is still, if that's true, that there's another person possibly out there, this is a dangerous situation still.
Cedric, the way the police are moving now, we're showing our viewers these live pictures. Does it look like they're moving as a result of the situation calming down, or still very dangerous?
No, it's still a very dangerous situation, and I'm quite sure they're taking all the precaution that they can, because one thing their commanders want to make sure that these officers are safe, away from where they need to be, but at the same time, too, are able to go house to house and do those neighborhoods, walk those streets, and continue to search for our second or third person. So they're doing exactly what they need to be doing right now under this situation, Wolf.
Yeah, safety first. You got to err on the side of caution. These vehicles move in with all the protective devices, and you see more law enforcement arriving on the scene. Our producer, Alberto Moya, is there as well. It looks like they're moving in. With these pictures, Alberto, you're close there. It looks like they're moving into a house.
That's exactly right, Wolf. I'm pretty far away, but looking through the camera, I'm looking at exactly the same thing that you are. And indeed, it looks like they are. They're checking out every corner, every crevice of the street. You'll have these moments where the police look like they're standing down, like the situation has calmed down, and then a few seconds later, you see 2 or 3 police officers running with their guns drawn. You see 2 or 3 cruisers going down the street on Richardson Avenue, which is where we're at. And every time I ask them, is anything? Can you tell me anything? And they continue to just say that this is an active situation. I think they're going to be extremely, extremely cautious in securing the scene and checking out every door, every location they could possibly think of, just in case there's something else happening. But yes, this is still. You could tell that the police is very tense. They're being very careful. They're going door to door. Some of these places, like I mentioned, there's a church here. There's a residential area. There is a facility with what looks like a couple of large heating tanks for some materials. So it's a little bit of a mixed use area here. But the police are going every single place they can think of to make sure that nobody gets in and out.
Tom Fuentes, you got to really err on the side of caution in a situation like this. They don't know if there are other shooters at large. They don't know if there are any improvised explosive devices or anything along that nature. They have to be very, very careful.
No, they do. And again, if they've gone into someone's home and taken a family hostage or something, then that only makes it all the more dangerous in the long run here.
If 1 or 2 of the other alleged shooters, you're saying that that's the fear, they may have gone into a home?
If a guy knocks on your door with a long gun, you're going to let him in. And that's what could happen. They could take a family hostage. They could do a car hijacking, a couple blocks away before they had enough officers to create the perimeter. So, they may have the person contained. They may not. This is still going to be difficult. And they may not have another person. It could have been somebody else who was seen running. So there's a lot of questions here. And again, darkness is approaching, and they're going to have a lot of difficulty here tonight.
Seth Alexander, you've been in law enforcement your entire career. How extraordinary, how unusual are these images we're seeing right now?
Well, we tend to be seeing more and more of them, Wolf, over the last number of years. And in each one of these scenarios, we go back, we try to see what we can learn from them. And so because we can pretty much anticipate an environment we're in today, we're probably going to continue to see, unfortunately, these types of incidents occur. So we want to try to learn as much as we can procedurally about our tactics, how we better protect the community in a situation such as this. And at the end of this scenario, there will be lessons learned as well, too, through all of this.
So we're seeing these 3 armored military-style vehicles surrounding that one dark SUV with the windows blown out. You see law enforcement officials moving in. They're protected by the armored vehicles, protected by the glass. Presumably, Tom Fuentes, they're going in there to determine whether or not there are other individuals or any explosive devices. But clearly they suspect this is the vehicle they were looking for. 14 confirmed deaths in the shooting incident over at the Inland Regional Center. 17 people injured, all in hospitals right now. But this is a critical moment, Tom Fuentes.
This is critical, and also the fact that if they have a suspect body lying on the street, they need to process that body and try to identify who that person is, get DNA, fingerprint it, immediately start running the information through databases, because if they identify that person, that may lead to the identification of other colleagues of his in a group that had this bad idea to do this. So I think that's a critical part of this as well. Get the suspect identified and try to determine who else that person hangs out with and may have been conspiring with.
And Jim Shudo, as we see what's going on right now, this could be the tail end. On the other hand, This could be going on for a while if there are other shooters at large. We don't know. The police chief originally said there could be